It's going down like this, motherfucker.
This shit is crazy. The following
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was hoeing. Hump, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Say that, nigga. Shit. Bet the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog need. Slap Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money.
Limousine, and every time I'm seen, I got to be clean.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society, and try and
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man. Yes, he destroy black boys. Yes, he destroy black boys. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
You hear what I said?
Yes, bitch, I heard you. I'm pretending like I didn't.
This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying.
I just left a light in this bitch. I just left a light in this bitch.
Well, gotta get a piece of my.
Hey, where are the white women at?
Your feet. He looked down, seen his feet. The nigga went berserk, killed the monkey, threw the bat out the window, start kicking that bitch in the air.
Say anyway, but I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously in no time switch its rotation also, because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around, and this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously.
You don't understand. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am, chilling.
Group of you together, you never can tell who's who. I've seen a lot of black guys, Nipsey, but you're overdoing it.
My eye, plus I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand.
I mean, TikTok. A lot of the white content creators on TikTok get all of their dances from the black content creators.
You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deeply.
Dance with me. Dance with me.
I'm in your business.
Hold up. You don't know nothing about that shit, bitch.
Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama, and you.
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
Dad.
You got to pray to God and tell God your rent due. Any God that didn't know your rent was due ain't God. Your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
Come with baggage, just I asked Louis was on.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that was nice.
I like that.
Bitch niggas, hoe niggas, rich niggas, broke bitch. I told niggas this was on, yeah, right here.
That's the difference when you're my baby. That's how it is when you.
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass.
I think we OD'd.
My word, can't be my equal, don't know what you heard.
Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the check, yeah.
Heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. I hit the loot juice, and pulls up in the heavy, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come. I hit the loot juice, and pulls up in the
Some people, they feel like you almost have to sell your soul to get fame, or is it just hard work, or is it luck, is it consequence, is it?
No, most of us in sold our soul. We just call it something else.
Like I said, you go to the history of European civilizations. 250 years is how long they last before they implode, because of their greed, because of their violence, because of an inability to let others be, including themselves. If they didn't have brown and black people to hate, they would hate themselves.
do that dance, baby, do that dance, let's work it out.
Slapping folks is satisfying. She don't like me, but I didn't know. Guess it was underlying.
To the east, to the west, to the south, above, below, in the middle. Greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O, welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. Well, it must be Sunday night, so it's time for me to come on, and I'm coming on and give you how I went for my NFL picks. But until then, I want to say what's happening to a couple people. Oh, okay. I want to say, Dr. Sinister, what's happening?
Got to have vision.
I want to say Grease. Oh, yeah, that's okay. That's Dr. Sinister. Thank you. PJ Allen.
Got to have vision.
B. Brown Lee, what's happening?
Got to have have vision.
And El Mur Amaroon Khan, also known as El Does It. Thank you for the kind words.
Got to have vision.
Well, we just got another Sunday in. And so Omic 12, thank you for coming.
Got to have vision.
Another Sunday, and I must say I didn't do very well. I end up going 7 for 7. Now we got 2 games tomorrow's 2 games, so I get to see if there's any improvement tomorrow. But 7 and 7, and so I won the Jets Patriots. I won the Eagles, of course. And you know what the theme was? It was a lot of games that was the under. Like I think the Eagles and the Eagles and Saints, I think it was 48. A lot of like the ones that was hitting 48 seemed like they was the ones that was way under. I won that. I lost the Browns and the Giants. The Giants played well for a change. Definitely hit the Vikings. I knew that. JJ was on them, but Donaldson, that Donaldson and that defense has been for real. Them linemen been getting in there on mugs, so the defense has been good. I lost the Browns and the Buccaneers. No, Broncos and Buccaneers. The Broncos won, which was a big surprise. Packers and Titans. I had picked the Titans, and I watched that game because I was watching the Viking game and the Packers game at the same time on a split screen. And I'll tell you, what is his name? Weber, is that his name? The quarterback for the Packers that took the place of Love. I am impressed with him. He can run the ball really well. He passes the ball well. And the Packers beat the Titans, which I was surprised. The Colts and the Bears, I won that one. I was surprised that the Chargers lost to the Steelers. Fields played well. I was very surprised. The Dolphins and the Seahawks, I had the Seahawks. Panthers and the Raiders lost at home to the Panthers. You got to be kidding me. 49ers and Rams. 49ers had a lot of players hurt, and the Rams end up winning at home, and that's what I should have considered. The Lions and the Cardinals. I thought for sure the Cardinals would win at home, but the Lions put it on them. Ravens and Cowboys. Remember, that was one I had question mark, and I changed that on air, and I end up going with the Ravens, and the Ravens won. But, they was fixing that game. And remember, did y'all catch in that game when they showed the 23-3? Like, what's the odds that somebody would come wearing a shirt like that? Somebody came and showed the 23-3, and then they showed the time. They showed the quarter, and they showed the time. Like, what's the odds of that? And then the Cowboys lose by what, 2, 3? So, but the Cowboys did lose. Chiefs and Falcons, of course, I had the Chiefs. And then tomorrow night, we got the Jags and Bills and the Commanders and Bengals. And again, tomorrow I have the Bills and I have the Commanders winning. So right now, as it is stand today, I am 7 and 7. So, which puts me in the year. Well, I'll wait till tomorrow night to do the year tally. Let's see. I guess I can do a quick tally. Long division. So I am now. What is that? That can't be right. That can't be right. So I've won 28 and I've lost. Okay, it's 28 and 18. So right now I'm 28 and 18, and that's not including tomorrow. So yeah, 28 and 14. Yeah, 28 and 18. So that's where I'm at. Did y'all check out Colorado's game? It's funny. They showed the Cordell Stewart play, and did you notice that they showed they showed the Cordell Stewart play? And what's interesting about the Colorado game is a couple things that caught my eye, because I be like wondering about their coaching, but a couple things caught my eye. Well, before he threw the last second pass, dude dropped a touchdown. Dude straight up dropped a touchdown in that last play. he ended up throwing the touchdown on the next play, which was I like the play call because it was another row left. I like that. But I tell you what impressed me most was, and of course the hit at the end. But if you recall in the first half, they was getting beat a lot on twist. And you know, a twist is just simply like you got the end tackle and the end to come around or the tackle to come around. They picked that up in the second period. They picked that up. And I was impressed. I was like, okay, I see an adjustment they made. And of course, the hit at the end to strip the ball. Now I know Rick Sports, he put the dude's knee was down. I don't think his knee was down. I don't think dude's knee was down. I think when dude got hit and came back up, I don't think he was down. I think he was still okay. So I disagree with what he said. So he said that was a broken play, dog. They scored on. I think though, no. I'll say this. No, it was a road play to the left. I mean, it may have been broken, but whatever the call was, it was a play to roll to his left. Because that's where that was the strong side. They had the more room over there. So I think it was a roll to the left. I don't think he was supposed to drop back because if you looked at the way he dropped back, when he started floating, he floated to his left. So I thought that. But yeah, they picked up that stunt, which that's called a stunt. When they X like that, they picked the stunt up nice. I was like, okay. And then did y'all notice that freshman number 77? Man, he was pancaking people. I mean, he's starting to come into his own because he was the top lineman this year, and he's really starting to come on his own. I was very, very impressed with him. Man, he hit a dude one time and knocked him down, and he hammered him while he was down. Like, shit, that young boy is starting to see it. So, and I think they have they should win next week because it's not a Big 12 games. I'm thinking they should beat Arizona, and they might have a chance to beat either Kansas State or Kansas. So they might win enough because, bowl game's only 6. So they might have enough to win a bowl game. Oh, that play wasn't broken. Okay. Yeah, see, all biz, what's happening?
Got to have vision.
Yeah, it wasn't broken. That play wasn't broken. That was definitely a scramble to your right. Yeah, that play. Yeah, I didn't think it was broken either. Of course it was. He had to scramble away from pressure. No, but what they had, well, okay, but also you can scheme it. You can scheme a play that because remember like a lot of times he would turn his back to get away from people, spin out, and he did that several times, turned his back. But if you looked when the pressure broke down, he went to his left side. So it was schemed that if he got in trouble, float to your left. So, yeah, it was definitely a float to his left. He wasn't dodging people when the pressure came. He went to his left. Now remember earlier he was doing some Michael Vick kind of escaping early in the game. But yeah, no, I don't think it was a broken play. I think it was schemed for him to roll to his left. That's what it appeared like to me. That he rolled to his left. Because if he got in trouble, because think about earlier in the game, all the trouble he got in. He got in a lot of trouble where he was ducking under people and stuff. And if you looked at the blocking, all the blockers went to the left too. So if it was a busted play, the blockers would be all over. So to say that there was nothing in it, I don't know. I don't know if I agree that it was probably. But if you watch linemen, they do not flow left. It was a straight drop back, and he had scrambled. No, I disagree. We can agree to disagree because the blocking went to the left too. We can probably pull it up. Oh, and let me say this before I forget. Let me see if they'll show it here. Not to change the subject, but I want to not forget. Let's see. Yeah, I want to bring this up and then I'll see if I can find the play. Yeah, but I want to, before I forget, I want to bring this up. This brother passed today, and I'll say in the history of football, other than the $1 million backfield in the 50s of the San Francisco 49ers of Joe Perry, Joe Perry, John Henry Johnson. I think the best three-back combo was Mercury Morris, Jim Kick, and Larry Zonka. I think that was one of the best three-back combos that we saw. And we know that Mercury Morris played in the undefeated team as well. Now, I see here, you know, they're going to put the dirt on you. He got busted for cocaine, too. Again, he was in Florida, so what'd you expect? But rest in peace to this brother, you know, Mercury Morris. Great scat back. I mean, really a scat back, you know, quickness. He was kind of a jitterbug type of breakaway. You know, his moves was really jitterbuggish like. Like I was watching a special on Walter Payton, and Walter Payton would give you the stiff leg in a minute. He would give you that leg and take that way. This cat was more of a scatterback. So I wanted to put that in there before I forgot. Wanted to put that in there before I forgot about it. And you know, it's surprising that he lived as long as he did, because a lot of them brothers that, you know, his age in their 70s or would be in their 70s, you know, died because they smoked cigarettes and they did a lot of cocaine. And so brother lived, you know. I think he didn't he go to Texas Western? I think he went to Texas Western. Let's see. Let's see if I could get just the last play. Is this it? Okay.
The first step to building wealth is being careful.
Now, I don't know if this is the overtime. I'm trying to get. Let's see if this is the overtime. All right. Okay, you say it's a straight drawback, huh? This is a straight drawback? Look at this. Where's he going? Where's he going? This ain't straight drawback. Where's the pressure? There's no pressure here. There is no pressure at all. So it was a roll to his left, as I said. You see what I'm saying? The roll to the left got away from the pressure. Thank you. Let's look at that again. This is not a broken play. Let's look from the very beginning. Let's go from the snap. Okay. Go from the snap. What is this, guys? There's no pressure. This is what they schemed to get away from the pressure. Yeah, like I said, this is the schemed to get away from the pressure. And this got him outside of the pressure. So, yeah, I was right about that. It is schemed to the left. It was schemed, and and I was mistaken about the lineman sliding, but they didn't need to. Everybody boxed in. And this young man here, right? Let me see. Left side, left. He's right-handed. Yeah, this man, yeah, he can't really see him, but yeah, see, it's schemed to his left. And that's what, like, if you think about Joe Montana, when Joe Montana threw that touchdown to Clark, he did the exact same thing. They had it where Joe Montana would roll to his right. When he threw that touchdown to Clark, you could see the play done earlier in the year where he rolled to his right. It was like once pressure came, Joe Montana would roll to his right, and that's where he threw it to Clark. That was practice, and this is the same thing. They schemed it for him if he got any. Matter of fact, there's no trouble. As you see, there is no real blitz. He takes off to his left because that's what they called for. They called for him to go to his left. Like I said, they schemed it for him to go to his left. So this ain't no broken play. Where was pressure? Where's pressure at? There's no pressure on him. There's no pressure. You telling me right here there's pressure? They only rushing 3. Well, they tried to blitz him, but only 3 really rushing. So there's no pressure. It was schemed for him to go to his left. See? To give him a throwing lane. Planted his feet. And there we go. So. And I thought that was good scheming. I thought that was good scheming. I really did. And another thing, I talked stuff last week about them celebrating. You know, they didn't celebrate today. Not even Hunt. None of them, even when Hunt got his touchdown, they didn't really celebrate. They didn't really celebrate today. Yeah, you know, they didn't do the dances and stuff. So Dion got on him for that. He was fast. Yeah, he was really fast. Hey, crazy Sarge, what's happening?
You got to have vision.
Thank you for joining. The pressure of the middle, he had not scramble, not a rollout play. No, it was a rollout play. He's saying to y'all, he's saying this ain't a rollout play. This is clearly a rollout play. Let's watch it again. This is a clear rollout play. Look, clearly. See, there's no pressure. It was clearly schemed to roll out. So, yeah, we can agree to disagree, but I think I'm right on that one. Yeah, there wasn't any real pressure up the middle. But I was impressed. It was the first time I really saw them scheme and scheme well. So that was okay. I don't want to do all that. So I was impressed. I saw some things on defense I hadn't looked at. The line played a lot better. The defense played a little better. Wow. I don't know about that. So it was a good day of football. Michigan won. And did y'all see when Michigan, when dude fumbled and did y'all check number 78 for Michigan got a fumble and he tried to run it? And you know what they teach people? They teach linemen to fall down. Like first the big dude was running and then he was looking to pass the ball around and then dude stripped him. He tried to forearm dude and dude wouldn't grab the ball back. I was like, wow. As a lineman, you're told to go down. If you can't pitch the ball, and then pitching the ball, you could fumble. So that was a crazy play. But Michigan won too. The Gophers lost to Iowa. I'm trying to think. I was watching the Colorado game, so I think I was going back and forth. So the Gophers lost. But, people, if y'all don't think it's stuff happening here, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Today, check this out. Today, we had the Vikings in town, and we had the Lynx playoff game. Yesterday, we had the Gophers in town, and I don't know if the Twins played or not yesterday. I'm not sure if the Twins played or not. But it's always something going on here. It's always something happening here. So remember, and we are the 16th biggest city in the nation, so it's always something happening here. So it's just whatever you are into. It's kind of whatever you like to do is here. I think we're going to go see Eddie Griffin. Music Soul Child, I think, was here this weekend at Mystic Lake, and we didn't make it. We didn't make it to see Music Soul Child. We kind of was ripping and running a little bit this weekend. So, did y'all see where Jerry Jones talks about, they had him with Jamie Foxx and Jerry Jones talking about where Jerry Jones, USC quarterback was trash. Yeah, I kind of agree, Dr. Senator. But did y'all see Jerry Jones talk about one of his players had an 8-inch dick and Jamie Foxx kind of killed his live? He's like, damn, Jerry Jones, what are you looking at their dicks for? I thought that was wild. I was like, whoa. And that reminds me of Any Given Sunday, where dude is Any Given Sunday where dude, is naked. Carmen, whatever her name is, she, she's in the locker room with all the men. Hey, what's up, Lobo? I didn't see Lobo in here.
You got to have vision.
What's happening, Lobo? Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. USC quarterback was trash. Yeah, he threw some costly interceptions. I heard Jerry talking about his players' junk. Yeah, wasn't that crazy talking about his players' junk? It's like, man, why are you looking? So, it's like Mug is looking. It reminded me of the Aaron was it Gonzalez? Aaron Gonzalez, the dude that killed his friend, that TV series. Did y'all see when he was at the University of Miami and the one dude is waving his dick and the other? They were supposed to have a who had the biggest dick contest and he's waving it in the dude's face. He's like, you win, you win. I don't know. Aaron Hernandez, did y'all see that shit? The Aaron Hernandez story. So that shit is crazy. Man, and they had this Coast Guard where that submarine, the little mini submarine. I mean, think about it, y'all. You would be in a tube that's going to take you, I think it's something like 10 hours to get to the bottom of the ocean. How many people want to be in a small tube that's dropping for like 10 hours? It's going to take you 10 hours, a half a day to get to the bottom of the ocean. And then they've been showing, let me see if this is going to show the debris, because they showed the debris. Oh, here we go. Well, let's see. Let me get my point across. I mean, who would get in this thing? Like, who would get in this thing? Like, who would really want to get in something this small and it's going to take you 10, 12 hours to drop to the bottom of the ocean? And then they've been showing, where'd it go? Now it won't let me drag it. Won't let me drag it. Let me get it going. Oh, okay. I'm about to let it go. But now they show the crash part. Here we go. But, and you know, they had a dude testify. He said the shit wasn't safe. He said they didn't do all the proper tests. They didn't do all the proper tests and stuff. So who would, you know, this is all that's left. They got blowed up. This is all that's left. Down there to see the Titanic. They said one time it went down there and ran into the Titanic. So I don't know. I don't think it wasn't, and it looked like it was all just a money grab. Like, dude just wanted money, so he didn't really care if it was safe. But hey, trying to get that money grab, he risked his life. And he risked other people's like, well, son, we want to go. Like, it was the father and son went down there. You know, if I said like son, I'm gonna pay $250,000 so we can go see the Titanic. You know, my son would have probably said, any of them, he'd be like, well, you know what, Dad, let's just go buy a model of the Titanic. We can pretend like we're down there. We can put it in the aquarium and let it sink down. We can like, whoa, the Titanic when it crashed. Not nothing we would do. Not nothing we would do. I don't think many of y'all would get in a small little thing, like small as this area, like right here. In a little damn tube that's going to take you 10, 12 hours. That would be too claustrophobic for me. An hour, I'd be banging on the walls. Take this motherfucker back up. They'd be like, well, take another pill, chew another gummy. I'd be like, I can't do it. Let me up out of this mug. And you guys been seeing all the talk. They say Michael Jordan might have liver disease because the way his eyes is always, beat red. I just think Michael got that good. So his eyes be red in the morning because he got that good. This is interesting. General Motors began selling horse-drawn carriages, became a major manufacturer of automobile brands. Now, actually, Fisher Body. So I don't know if it's going to say Fisher Body. Fisher Body was the ones that sold. Said General Motors had a long history dating to the days of horse. That was Fisher Body. And I don't know if this article going to talk about Fisher Body. Let's see. Because if you remember, those of you that remember General Motors cars, it would say, like right in the side panel, it would say Body by Fisher. And that's where my stepdad worked. He worked there for 25 years, Fisher Body. They were the made, like you'd look at the cars from 1962. I think that's when they started operations. I think they opened up in 61, but I think they started producing. And they made side panels. They made trunks. They made hoods. Yeah. And so Body by Fisher. And I just found this little article. But the Fisher Body brothers is the ones that they were selling horse-drawn carriage too. Because here it says... General Motors incorporated in 1908 in Flint and relocated to Detroit. But William Durant founded it, but Fisher Body was who did the horse-drawn carriages. Says with 2,000 borrowed cash, he bought a small horse cart company that came with 2 carts and a design patent. Okay. Durant spent many years in the carriage business, becoming a millionaire by the time he was 40. When a horseless carriage first entered U.S. transportation, Durant's interest was limited because he thought they were noisy, dangerous, and corrupt and contraptions that frightened people and horses. That didn't last long. Durant took over management of Buick in 1904. This led to the founding of General Motors in 08. Durant quickly built the General Motor brand, purchasing 22 companies after 16 months. Notable brands acquired was Buick, Cadillac, Oakland, which was Pontiac, Oldsmobile, McLaughlin, GM Canada, and GMC. With all the success of General Motors came financial woes, lost control of the company due to a $15 million debt. Man, he was $15 million debt in 1910. During the time, he partnered with race car driver Louis Chevrolet. If you guys didn't know that was a race car driver, Louis Chevrolet was a race car driver with whom he established the Chevrolet Motor Company. In 1916, he returned to General Motors, but forced out of the company again in 1920. Soon after, created Durant Motors, which was liquidated in 1933. They are different under the umbrella. Of course, now all that's left is Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Cadillac is the only thing left. Oldsmobile closed down. I had never heard of McLaughlin's, though. Yeah, so he bought Buick, Cadillac, Pontiac was first called Oakland, Oldsmobile, because I know Oldsmobile, I think, was Brothers McLaughlin. No mention of General Motors, or not General Motors, but no mention of Body by Fisher, Fisher Body, because they did the same thing. Fisher Body was a horse carriage company at first, so no mention of that. And if I said before, the first time I saw airbags was in 1972. Yeah, it must have been, because that was, I think, the 10th year anniversary. Well, I was in 5th grade, whatever, I think. And my brother and I sat in the car and the airbags came out. So, what is this? Speaking of celebrities, what do you think they're all quiet regarding Diddy? I don't really say nothing about that because I don't really care. I mean, we know what Hollywood is. We know what sacrifice is. And we know that he was... like if you look at his back, that voodoo on his back, so he's probably doing some voodoo. But it's just a pattern of you become abused, so you start abusing people. He was forced to have sex with Clive Davis. Clive Davis? Yeah, Clive Davis. He's forced to have sex with him to get his money to start Bad Boy to start with. So, he had that humiliation. The one chick wrote a thing where he was, they were saying that he was under the table sucking off Harrell. And we know Harrell ended up dying. We know Heavy D ended up dying. So Craig Mack ended up dying. And we know that he had something to do with Biggie and Tupac. He had something to do with both of those. So, I mean, I don't think we can be surprised by any of it. A lot of people are probably worrying, but a lot of people have paid, and he's going to bite the bullet for them. I think when they confiscated everything, they was trying to start hiding, the higher than him, because people forget, when you are given power, you only have so much power when you are given power. And so I think he forgot that. I think he thought at some point he was untouchable. And, what they try to show you is that everybody can be touched. And when them feds come after you, they already got you. Like when the state come after you, they might be guessing if you did it or not. But not them federal boys. When they come knocking on your door, they already know you guilty. So what do they say? 99% of conviction rate for the feds, something like that. So, but it's a distraction. I mean, it's distracting people from the vice president not really being a good communicator. I mean, if she's not on script, that chick is like just scattered-brained. I mean, she's a year younger than me, I think, or probably about to turn 63 this year. And I don't know, when she's not on script, she just doesn't know what to say. She just doesn't know what to say. I mean, she really it's amazing how just their conversation, how they ask her questions. She don't even know how, she does a lot of fruit salad or speech salad, where she talks without saying nothing. And so that's interesting, where she just can't even put together real sentences. It's and I guess it's like to cover if she wins and she can say, have, some deniability. Well, I didn't say that, because she's not being very specific about what she's going to do on purpose. They ask her questions and she tells a story. Well, what do you think has changed? Do you think inflation's up or down? Well, my mom was a small business person. So she's never up and down. It's always some scramble. There's no clear answers. So I don't know. She's completely out of touch with reality, everyday Americans. Oh yeah, I would say so too. And like, what has she really accomplished? And it's a thankless job being the vice president, but what has she really accomplished? It doesn't really seem like she's accomplished a lot. But we really saw them, I talked about this the other night. We really saw them go against the democratic process, but especially for Democrat people that are Democrats. No other real Democrats got to run. It had nothing to do with Biden doing so bad in that speech. They were stalling because they didn't want it. They did, because she was exposed when she ran before. That Gabby chick exposed her and shut her up. And remember, nobody voted for her before. She couldn't even get out of the primaries. So again, think about if she would have had to go through the Democratic primaries. Do you think she really could have won? And as I said the other night, remember when Biden would have lost South Carolina, he was done. South Carolina saved him, if you remember. It was like he was almost broke, didn't have the funds, and then all of a sudden he went to South Carolina, and just like her, where she got 60 to 90 million overnight, the same thing happened when Biden won South Carolina. So, but Diddy is a distraction. It's no doubt he's a distraction. They don't want you thinking about the presidential, and the early voting is starting now. A lot of people that vote mail-in votes has already got them. A lot of states you can go vote for president and everybody right now. And Royce White, if you guys remember the pro player Royce White, and he's got a YouTube. I think it's under Royce White. He's kind of clever guy, clever guy. Kind of looks like he got his stuff together. He struggled, I think his history is where he struggled. He left the U because he stole a laptop. And isn't it funny, in the Hernandez story, they show Cam Newton stole a laptop. So it's like Cam Newton's at Florida and he steals a laptop. Like, why? Why the boosters wouldn't have given you a laptop? And the same with Royce White. But I'd heard he got put out of De La Salle because he won the state title 3 years in a row. He won, I think, twice with De La Salle. And then when he went to Hopkins, he won the state title at Hopkins. And he at first went to University of Minnesota. And then he stole a laptop. So he was kind of a klepto growing up, even though he had everything, which is interesting that people do that. Like Cam Newton, really? Like the players in the TV show was like, you could have got a laptop from a booster. The boosters will give you this kind of stuff. So I don't know. Some people just can't help themselves. And, they used to say milk, drinking a lot of milk made you be a klepto. And I think in my case, it probably was. Because I know when I was younger, I used to especially steal books all the time. I'd go to the university bookstore and steal, because I always liked to read, but I would steal books like a mug, just be in the bookstore and found a way just to push the books near the door and then, boom, walk out with them or take off running. But that's some petty kind of stuff. So, we got to grow up and get out of that kind of thing. But it was a good weekend, Well, for the most part, it was a good weekend. Yeah, for the most part. I didn't do anything. I walk every day, but I didn't walk this weekend. My wife and I walked a couple miles Friday, and I didn't wear my knee braces, and my knees actually felt pretty good. So, And this hat is funny. I think I told you guys, the guy tried to get me to buy another hat. And the only difference in the hat I didn't buy and this one is it had a green bill, but it's the unlined eagle. You see how the eagle is unlined? He's like, I bet you don't have this one. And I was thinking, I bet I do got an unlined eagle. And here it is. And it's a black nasty, but you know what? They're selling these again. So I think this is from the 21 season. I forget. And you know, I got the Randall Cunningham. What year is this? 85. I think it's the 85 jersey. But you know, I had to have Randall Cunningham, and in my storage, I got my Doug Williams. I got to get the old Pirate Tampa Bay, but I got the orange Doug Williams, as I mentioned before. So, yeah. But you know, some people was like telling me that the tackle with the Eagles last week, you know, they were commenting that he just missed the tackle. It was a game with the Ravens today where the Raven player missed the Cowboy player. Do y'all remember that play? Where it's almost the same thing. One-on-one with him, he doesn't make the tackle, he spins the guy around. And so we see this all the time. And then of course the play I showed with the let's see, with the onside kick, which, you know, I think they just, you know, really, I think they wanted to test the onside kick. That's what I think. I think today they really wanted to test it. So that's why they had that play. Oh, is this the... Yeah, that's why they wanted to have that play. They wanted to test out how the onside kick would look. That's what I think they was trying to do today. Oh. Let's see, can I stop it? Yeah, I can. But I mean, this is an obvious play where they're not trying to win. I mean, this was too obvious. Normally when it go past most people, everybody's, you know, you have the hands people up there, and the hands people try to get the ball. One person went for the ball. That's all. All right, kick the ball. Here we go. Fumble. Look at him. Look at his expression. Does he seem mad? Well, oh well. Oh well. He was like, oh well. Oh well. Didn't seem that upset. And I should have taken a picture of the dude from the Patriots. Should have taken that picture. But oh well, here we go again. Oh well, I just missed it. Oh well. Come on. You the hands person. You see, he tried to let it come into his body. No one would do that. You never let it come into your body. That's why they call it the hands people to come in, because you catch it with your hands. You don't let it hit your body. You're going to catch it with your hands. See? That shows you right there. When he let it hit his body, that's the way he let it bounce off himself. So see that? No real receiver does that. You catch it in your hands. So that was some BS. That was some clear BS, as we see. Clear BS. Clear, let him do it on purpose. Let him do it on purpose. So we see a lot of plays, you know. And it does still blow my mind, the amount of people that, what do you say? I think we are being mocked, other powerful nations, by the actions of our leaders at the moment. A former president has had an attempt on his life. The president seems to have Alzheimer's. Well, and the new financial system that a lot of countries is going through, and the dollar, not wanting to buy things in dollar, wanting to buy things through the bricks instead of the dollar. I think that's going to have greater repercussions in a lot. But it's funny, like right now, we're about to be in a government shutdown, but yet they still, you got the president from Ukraine coming over here this week to beg for money. We steadily sending money over to Israel. Now, Canada blocked sending money to Israel. Canada held their latest shipment going over there. But, you got one point, you got the vice president talking about, the deaths of the Palestinians. And on the other point, when she's in front of APEC, she's talking about, how you're always going to get your money. And let's not forget what Pelosi said. Pelosi said America will be burning and Israel will still get taxpayers' money. And that's the thing. It's like what we forget. And this thing that Carmela wants to do, this is how a person broke that down. So think about it like this. Capital gains. So you buy a house, and maybe next year your house is going to be worth 50,000. They want to tax you on what it might be next year. And then say in 2 years your house is worth 100,000. They want to tax you on that 100,000. So they're going to tax you on the 50,000. Then they're going to turn around and tax you again on that capital gains of 100,000. Now, how does that make sense? But that just shows you their greed of our taxes. I mean, these people think, our taxes is monopoly money. And it's like we get double jeopardy taxed. They tax your paycheck. When you buy gas, they tax the gas. If you buy a car, you got to pay taxes on the car. I mean, it's like everything we buy, we get double, triple taxed. So how does that? Shouldn't it just be a tax out of your check and that's it? Why are we paying taxes when we buy things? Now, this state, I got to love this state. I'm a clothes junkie, so buying clothes in this state, no taxes. Some foods have taxes, but no tax on clothes. But tax on jewelry, you can believe that. You spend $2,000-3,000 on jewelry, you're gonna pay $400-500-600 in taxes. It's like, and if you're on a budget, you're like, well, the jewelry, I got the $2,000, but what about this $400 tax? So you saying it's not 2,000, it's 2,400. I can't really get it because I ain't got the taxes. Isn't that some shit? You got enough money to buy it, but you ain't got enough money to pay the taxes. So you got to have enough money to pay the taxes too. So just because the jury says 2,000, it ain't 2,000. And then if you want to get some kind of warranty for the jury, you're going to have to pay for that too. So instead of paying, 2,000 that you budgeted, it might be more like 2,800. Can you afford that? Do you got it like that? Some people don't. It's like, damn, So instead of buying a bigger chain, you got to get the little smaller chain. Or you got to get a ring with less diamonds. You dig? Or get the moissanite. But that's kind of that's the reality. But if you got it, you don't worry about the taxes. You just get it. I mean, look at the taxes you pay on a car. And sometimes like my wife's aunt, she bought a brand new 2019. I think it was 80. No, it was, she's got a 5 Series. So in 19, she bought it new. And I think it was, the one we were looking at was 68, and that was the base. It was 68. The 24 was the 68. So I think hers was around 65 to 68. And don't you know they would not let her pay cash? She had to finance it, I think, for 6 months. So she paid, almost the 68, but then she had to finance it. So they wouldn't take the full 68. She had to pay just a little less. I had never heard of that before, that they made her finance it. I mean, literally they made her finance it. She's like, no, I just want to pay this motherfucker off. It's like, no, we can't. So they made her finance it. I don't know if y'all ever heard of that kind of story where they make you finance some shit. So I don't know. Yeah, Aaron Hernandez show is wild. It definitely is wild. He was a fruit pop. Yeah, kind of, I guess. No ambition to see the Titanic again. Why do you think? Oh, okay. I think I'm caught up. But yeah, that Aaron Hernandez, I mean, he was reckless. He was very reckless. I forgot about that shooting. But like, I'm at the point like where he dumped the dude. Cause like, I think when he killed his friend, or it was his brother-in-law. The dude he killed was his girlfriend's brother, I think. And he acts like he gets a call from somebody and says, you can't even kill right. You shot me in the eye. But I'm pretty sure he killed dude. But if I remember right, he supposedly dropped the dude off in a building complex. And also, because they show this, when he shoots dude, they show he was smoking a joint, and then he just throws the joint down. Who would be that sloppy? Because they found a smoked joint next to the dead body. Who would be that sloppy? So it's a lot of things that I don't know. And did he die in prison? I don't know. But it's a lot of weirdo football players. Winslow Jr. They say was really weird. Remember he traveled with the lower part of a woman, and he'd have a roommate in there, and he'd be doing the the little dummy part. He'd be doing it to the dummy in front of his roommate. So travel roommate. So they didn't want nobody to be his roommate. Nobody wanted to room with him because he was weird. Can you imagine you in the hotel room, maybe smoking a joint, just chilling, and your roommate is over there humping on a little torso. He is tearing the torso up. Be like, damn, weirdo. Can you imagine that kind of shit? He's like, you tearing that torso up, Holmes? Can you imagine telling the coach why you don't want to be a roommate? Like, coach, I can't room with this nigga. I got to do something else. Well, what's wrong? How do you tell the coach? Look, coach, he's a weirdo. He's got a half torso and he's tearing the torso up. Oh, I think there are many Aaron Hernandez trying to mask their sexual desires, though extreme masculinity unnecessarily. I don't know. In college, I can't say one dude was feminine, but I can't say that he was gay. I don't think he was, because he always had girlfriends. He could have been, but he had very feminine manners. But yeah, and again, my generation, it wasn't as open. I think I've told this story before. I was in summer school and I was walking around the hallway in my boxer shorts. Maybe I'd just taken a shower and I'm just walking around the hallway, and this guy comes up to me and he was like, I saw a guy and the guy had a little bottle, and I was like, shit, dude. And like, I see my homeboys and I'm like, shit, what's up? I'm like, man, let me have a drink and I'll smoke a joint with you. He's like, cool. He came to my room and we smoking the joint and shit. And he's like, I would like to do some of that head. And I'm like, not today. And I end up, my homeboys that I saw previously stopped me from throwing him out a third story window. Or maybe second story window. I had him by the waist about to drop him out the window. He's like, don't drop me out the window. And my homeboy's like, don't drop that nigga. So I don't know if that's masking my masculinity, but it was like, yeah, at that point, I just wasn't having it. And I wanted to beat my homeboy's ass too from not telling me. Torsos need love too. That's kind of funny. I guess so. So yeah, it's a little torso you could get. He was tearing it up. So I can't say that and I was even thinking like I didn't really meet any gay folks until I played ping pong with one dude, and another guy, he was a cross dresser. Yeah, and those were the only two really that I saw growing up, And in college, it was that guy that I mentioned, and then that guy saw me. Later, we went to pick up some equipment where my friend was living. In the summertime, we went to pick up equipment. That dude was in the house, and that dude saw me, and he ran out the back of the house. There's that crazy guy. So that was just my experience back then, That's all. So I doing some of what? Some guys who are overly aggressive could be hiding tendencies that they're embarrassed by. Well, like the one guy said that was kind of feminine. That dude, he would, like, if it was a rhino and him in his helmet and they hit head on, I think he would have fucked the rhino up. I watched this dude he squatted, because we called him Hammerhead Pete. Pete squatted, I think it was 700 pounds. He squatted so much where you guys ever seen somebody lift and the bars bend? I mean, literally, when he put that shit in this motherfucker head, like he had a neck, not like some dudes don't have, he had a neck. But he put that 700 and some on his back, and that bar whoop, bent like that, and he pushed that shit up a few times. Maybe he only did it once or twice at the most. And everybody was spotting his ass, but that dude, he was like, the way he smoked his cigarette, he was just kind of feminine. But I don't know. He had girlfriends, so maybe, I don't know. And that brother's not with us. He got killed playing cards at a card game. Somebody shot him. But yeah, that dude would knock. I mean, he could hit. He hit the old-fashioned way. Because when I was taught to tackle, we was taught like this. You lower your head down. You lower your head, and you run into him. And he was hell doing that. He was just busting dudes up in practice. But when we got to the games, not so much. It was like he would knock the shit out of people in practice when we got in games, and he wasn't as effective in the games as I would have thought. Because he played middle linebacker. He might have been the same height, 6 foot, 6'1". He's probably a solid 245, but he just wasn't, he wasn't as effective as I thought he would be in the games. Yeah, it wasn't as effective. But yeah, rest him. He got killed. Shit, he got killed in the 80s, I think. He got shot by somebody in the 80s. And that's what gets sad is like, it's like my high school teammates that have passed. It's about 10 or 12 of my high school teammates. But then, a bunch of my college teammates have passed, and I like, and the ones I've talked about this before, the ones that have passed from diabetes is really, even my coach had a leg removed and he died of diabetes, and two of my teammates, same thing. And it's like, that's why you got to eat right. And sometimes it's hereditary, it's just hereditary, no doubt about that. It can just be in your family and you can do everything you can to live healthy and stuff, but your genetics will sometimes kind of creep up on you. And so you just do the most you can do, exercise, try to eat as well as you can eat, That's the only thing I could say is you just do your best. And the time you have is the time you have. Like I tell my daughter, it's no regrets. If we got till next week, or we've got until she gets older and I'm really old. That's you want to leave out this motherfucker with no regrets. You take that last breath, that last thought, it's like, I love everything. That should be one of your last thoughts is love. Before you go out, it's like, I loved and I am loved. So I have nothing to fear because love is supreme. Love is the greatest energy that you can have, is the energy of love. And that's, when you look at life with love, it's hard to have enemies. Now, I ain't saying trusting people, but I'm saying that you look at life with love, it's like, wow, you understand their faults. You can break down what's wrong with so-and-so or what's wrong with them. I ain't saying you got to be friends with them, but you can still look at them with compassion. And that's, the problem with today is so many fearful things. So many fearful things, so much debauchery, it's a lot of debauchery going on. And that's, and that's to distract us from our own lives. People talking about other niggas and what other people are doing. And that's what they want. They don't want you to think about yourself. They want you to think about other people. There's people really like sitting there like, damn, what else is going to happen to Puffy next? There's people that think about that. They wake up in the morning or they're around a group and the groups talk, well, I heard this about Puffy. And it's like, I don't give a fuck about him. You dig? That's why I don't spend a lot of time talking about him, because I could care less. I could care less. I'm going to be so glad when this president stuff is over, because I really don't care about that, because we already know it's a selection, not an election. We already know that the people are selected and not elected. If we selected, it'd be no electoral college. But it's important to vote locally, no doubt. Like, I'm going to vote for Royce White. I'm going to vote for him. But it's important to vote, local votes make a difference. You stand in front of a magistrate and, if you voted for him, then okay, you could understand his policies. But if you didn't vote for him, you'd be like, hey, no excuse. Because your vote might have put his ass out. And it's funny, the mugs, like when you go to vote, there's people that ain't even running against people. It's like everybody's just like, fuck it, I can't be a judge. So you wouldn't say fear too stronger than love? Fear seems to fuel over your very existence. I don't necessarily agree with that, but it seems so. Well, I would answer that like that. Like, quantum of science talks about change. It's like change is the thing, and change and fear kind of go together. If you look at the two, change and fear kind of go together. Kappa Choppa Chata, what's happening? Thank you for joining.
You got to have vision.
fear and change, I think, go together because that's what you fear. You fear change. And, like you remember They Live, it'd be signs up and everything you see to be fearful. Like I talked about driving and the troll under the bridge is like, how many times have you driven your car and you heard, man, crash, accident? I mean, it's just out of nowhere. You drive and all of a sudden the idea of a crash comes in your head. So these are fear patterns that's put out there. It's like one prime example is I was out to the Mall of America. This was before COVID, but it was like I was hearing, somebody's going to try to, do a shooting in there, or somebody's going to try to blow them all up. All of a sudden these thoughts, and those fear thoughts that's going around. So there are a lot of fear thoughts that's out there, and if you're susceptible to those will creep in you. Again, if you don't know your own thoughts. But fear and change are the two things, fear and change. So I tie those kind of together because it's like what most people really want. And that's what COVID showed is you want things to be the same all the time. And so speaking of cars, a car accident is a change, unwelcome change. Some change is welcome, some change is unwelcome. You dig? But action cures fear. So don't let fear stop you from doing something. Like, what did he say on 21 Bridges? About only 3 people out of 15 will fight, but action will cure fear. And that's the problem. Like I was watching Carl Jung. Carl Jung died a few weeks before I was born. And, they asked him, do you believe in God? And he said, well, that's a hard question to answer. They said, well, he said, because I know. Now, he didn't say he knows about God. He says, I know. And once you start knowing, you don't fear. Now, we're vulnerable, especially if you have children. I have 6 children. That shit makes you vulnerable. But like I talked before, I've went through that pain and I know that pain. And if I have to go through it again, well, I have to go through it again. And so, but that's no way to live. And you kind of create that too. You kind of do create that kind of thing. If you dig what I'm saying. You create scenarios that make you fearful of others or fearful of your loved ones. I mean, I was just thinking about, I tell a story. When I was 2 years old, my mother gave me a bath, let me go outside and play at 2 years old. Think she's in the kitchen walking and the dog knocked me down. And I started crying. She came out there to get me. I think another story I can tell you is I remember being on my aunt's porch. I was probably 3. No older than 3. And I was watching 2 of my friends later in life. They were friends, but they were 2 friends. They were neighbors and they were fighting. But I was out there at my aunt's house on the porch by myself at 3 years old. Now, I don't know if I was supposed to be playing with the boys. Maybe, I can't quite remember. I remember them fighting. I think at one point, all 3 of us was on the porch, and I think they were supposed to watch me because it was like all 3 of us was on the porch, and they were only, let me see, if I was 3, they were 6. They were 3 years older than me, so they were 6. And I think I think my aunt left me with them because we were all playing. And then they went down the stairs and started fighting. I stayed up on top of the stairs. But again, the times are so different that Jacob Weatherly made people scared to leave your children just out to play. And that you have to watch your children, Hawkeye watch them. Now, I've talked before, my little brother, I would leave him in the playground. The playground was fenced. We would get up, we'd get up in the morning. I would walk him to the playground. He'd walk in with all his buckets and whatever. He would sit in the sand and I would ride my bike around. I mean, when my brother was in kindergarten, he had to walk to school in kindergarten. And you had to walk out of our complex, cross the highway. It was a crossing guard, and walk maybe 3 blocks to school, 3, 4. So it probably took him 15 minutes to walk to school. But he was in kindergarten, 5 years old, and they let him walk to school. Can you imagine that now? Now, again, it was a neighborhood school. So, times have changed. And we've been given fear programs that we got to be on our children every minute, which, the item love conquers all means that love is a powerful force that can overcome any affection, can triumph over challenges, conflicts, adversaries, and they may encounter in life. Well, that's why, love is supreme. And if you look at everything with love, you can kind of switch to see why somebody made a decision and still have empathy for them and still have love for them, still have love in your heart, because you can see why they made that decision. Now, I ain't saying you got to like them, but love also gives you confidence. Love gives you confidence as well, because self-love, that gives you the ultimate confidence because you love yourself. I mean, think about when you dress, what you wear, what you pick, what your style is. That all comes from self-love. You buy things and, what you represent and what the people look at you and how you look at yourself. That comes from you loving yourself. I mean, you see the people that walk around, well, now everybody walks with their phone and looking at their phone, but people that head down all the time because they just lack self-confidence, they lack self-love. But yeah, love is definitely supreme. Yep, I went outside myself, had to stay in the yard. Yeah, exactly. But you was outside by yourself. I'm telling you, my mother, this is a true story. My mother put me outside at 2 years old by myself, and I just happened to walk up to the dog. And when I went to pet the dog knocked me down. So it was different. Times was different. Like I would walk my brother to the playground, and then around noon, we would go back home, have lunch. I'd walk back, walking back home, or my mother would go get him. If I didn't come in time, she would go get him and just yell. But she would even go to the playground. She would go 7, 8 doors up from us and then yell, "Joey, get your ass over here." And so he'd walk home. But most of the time I had a watch or just knew, and I'd go get him and walk home. We'd have lunch and then we'd go back out. We would go back out. And, the summertime, it didn't get dark till 10 o'clock, some summers. So most of us in 5th, 6th grade, I'm still 9 o'clock. It's light outside. We still in, outside playing. And so a lot of that has changed, a lot of those times have changed. And, when I got bussed, I wasn't walking, once I got bussed, my last 5th and 6th grade, I got bussed. Fourth, I walked to school. I couldn't walk to school in kindergarten, 1st grade because we lived in a small town and they didn't, unless you lived outside of the town, you couldn't catch a bus. So I got driven in kindergarten, 1st grade. 2nd grade, I walked. 2nd grade, I had to walk to school. 3rd grade, I lived in the hood with my dad and I walked to school. And then 4th, 5th, and 6th, I caught the bus. Now, the high school I went to, I lived close to the high school. So I used to ride my bike. I could walk to my high school in 20 minutes. Like I was saying before, where Derek Jeter lived right, it's a fence that goes around by the high school, really by the baseball park that's named after him. His house was right there. So Derek Jeter just had to go to the end of the block and walk around. And, it probably took him 7, 8 minutes if he walked. And I doubt he walked. Well, his block, the way that fence is, you got to come out because it wasn't really a cul-de-sac, but it kind of set, the house is set kind of back, but his fence was literally his backyard was the baseball stadium that's named after him was literally his backyard. It was just a fence there. He lived almost on the high school grounds. And then there was a graveyard next to my high school. And we used to sit out there and smoke weed and shit in the graveyard. Because it was you cut through the graveyard. And I wonder if you can still cut through because there's no fence. But you could cut through the graveyard and then it had a crypt. I think it was just storage for them to rake and shit. Because it was a small graveyard. But it was directly next to our practice field. So we had to cut through the graveyards to go to school. Because if you didn't, it was quite a walk. To walk all the way to the street and all the way to where it was quite a long walk. But if cutting through the graveyard, you was just right there. Cut across the football field, around the stadium, and then up into the school. So yeah, in the summer times, it was nothing to ride my bike. And then by the time I was in high school, I had partners that drove, so I had to catch the bus because they'd come pick me up. So even though the bus was there, which the bus took probably 10 minutes to take us to school, if that, doing all the stops. But I was one of the last stops. So, but yeah, the world has changed. But that's what when the witch talks about love and above, that's what life is. It's definitely you just really have to have confidence in yourself. Like my cousin has a song called Confidence, and confidence is being. That's the key to confidence is being. As I said before, you want to do everything like when you're getting ready. I've talked about this many nights, to be a Super Saiyan. That's the best way I could say it. Oh, let's get the Kundalini out. But to be a Super Saiyan, that's what you want to be, Mr. Motherfucker or Mrs. Motherfucker, whatever you want. But that's how you should face the world. Not being beat up and not feeling good about yourself going out the house. I mean, think about that kind of energy. You leave your home and you're already thinking bad about yourself or something bad is going to happen to you. That energy, that's what you're going to attract. That's what you're going to attract. And not to say that there ain't struggles and there ain't fights, but even fights, you got to be confident in the fight. Win, lose, or draw, you still confident. Okay, this didn't work out. Okay, that's not going to deter me. I'm still confident who I am. I still feel good about me. Because believe me, when them last breaths come and you see that black wall, that's all that's there. It's just you. And that's what, loving everything and lucid living is talking about, is loving everything because, all we have is the moments. Man, if you have a heart attack, that's all, those are the last moments. And so every moment should be important to you. Like when I pet my cat, I don't just do the motions of petting him. I pet him like it might be the last time I pet him. I want to give him that love because of what he does for me. I want to give him that love where it's every time I pet him, I want to mean it. I ain't just like, oh yeah, okay, it's my cat, pet. No, every time I pet my cat, I show love, and I pay him attention, and I love them. The three of them, whenever they come around me, when I pet them like it was the last time I'm ever gonna pet them. So, to be honest, confidence can be just as dangerous as fear. False confidence. I've seen many get hurt over false confidence. Okay. Okay. I don't know if it's false confidence. I think some people overrate things. Some things are overrated. They overrate their capabilities. And I think that's what you're talking about, their capabilities instead of confidence. Because people, and that's the difference between having a capability and still having the confidence that you can do it. Even if you try to do it and you fail, I think that's what you mean is capabilities. What are you capable of doing? Now, do you have a false confidence of being capable of doing something? Absolutely. There are people that they don't, they don't have the capability to do certain tasks. So they're overconfident in doing certain tasks. But that shouldn't take away from the confidence you have. And again, people a lot of times bite too much for them to chew. They take too much rope. And that's what they say, too much rope can hang yourself. So I think you're talking about more capabilities than actually the confidence you have in yourself. Because false confidence is saying false capabilities. Yes, there's people that can't do things, no doubt. But I'm saying that shouldn't deter how you feel about yourself and not capabilities. I'm not talking about capabilities. I'm talking about how you feel about yourself and not what you're capable of doing. So that's all. And yes, there can be false confidence of you not being capable of doing things. And then sometimes, you can fake it until you make it. Sometimes you can learn something you didn't know how to do. But walking out that door, you got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in you. Because if you don't believe in you, nobody else will. And if you don't show the world that you believe in you, who's going to believe in you? Like one of my old football sayings was, you have to fight even though you want to cry. And that fight comes from, self-confidence. I'm going to keep trying. What does Little Train say? I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. But yes, there's a lot of fake, fake confidence and capabilities. People don't always have the capabilities to do things. I agree with that. And a false sense of what I can do or what somebody can do, and you can't do the job. And then that starts, that brings a whole lot of other issues, because that gets into fight or flight kind of capability. That's also gets into coping mechanisms. That also gets into wanting to attack people because you're trying to cover up what you can't do. So you start treating people bad to cover up what you can't do. So, well, then wouldn't it self-confidence then only be associated with ego? Being egotistical is look for validation from others. No. It's like I was saying, I don't, when I put on my clothes, I'll give you a simple example. When I tell a joke, I'm only trying to make myself laugh. I'm not telling a joke to get anybody else to laugh. I'm trying to make me laugh. When I put on my clothes, I'm putting on my clothes because of how they make me feel, not how people will look at me. I ain't trying to wear shit to look at me. I would rather people don't even notice me. So I think there's a little difference between ego than that. Because again, yes, that would be, ego would be where you want validation from others, but yeah, not just my confidence. That's all. That's all. And that again, ego would come into capabilities. Can you do things? Are you capable of doing certain things or not? Yeah. But you still got to feel good about yourself and, do things for yourself. Like I was going to say, when I wear a fur coat, I don't care what nobody think about my fur coat. I go up in the Target wearing a fur coat. I go pick up when I was drinking beer. I'd go pick up beer in a fur coat. I don't really care what people think. Now, people seem to notice me, but I don't do things to be noticed. It's like if I walk around all day and go to the mall and wear this hat and this shirt, I ain't wearing it to be noticed. I'm wearing this because this is what I like. And here a lot of people I'll buy the Eagles hat. They're like, man, how can you buy that hat and you live here? Well, I do pull for the Vikings. But I also pull for the Eagles. I grew up having two favorite teams, the Eagles and the Raiders, and I just kind of fell off of liking the Raiders. Don't really, I think last time I followed the Raiders was when they had Bo. And then I don't know, after Bo quit playing, I kind of fell out of really being a Raider fan. And then when I moved here, the Viking gear is so cheap that, I just kind of fall. And I go to a game or two every year. Today probably would have been a good game to go to. It probably been cheap. But we didn't go today, so I don't know which game we're going to. I'm sure we're going to one. Yeah, sure we're going to one. We were thinking, my wife wanted to go to a Gopher game, so we might go see the Gophers play too, because they got a nice stadium. But it's outdoors, but we're going to go before it get cold. But I wasn't going to go too late. I do have to get up. Oh, shit. Yeah, I definitely got to get up early in the morning. I want to tell this little story. Let me see if I can. I might have to read it. I want to read a story for you guys. A little short story. Let me see. That ain't it. Here we go. Right there. Here we go. Okay. Let me read this little story. The young sage sat at the edge of the universe and wondered why he was given the keys to knowledge and understanding. The sage felt isolated, knowing he didn't have any other to tell his massive knowledge to. Yet the sage thanked the universe and went on his way, knowing that he always had the universe to talk to. And so was saying that there's always something there for you to share your thoughts out there. Now, the cloud is actually a real thing. I mean, all thoughts, and that's what some people say, that all the thoughts come from the moon. Or the thoughts come from the moon. No, the used thoughts go to the moon. the sun kind of refreshes the refreshed thoughts, or the new thoughts come from the sun. So there's always somewhere for your thoughts to go. And it's like people that pray, you know. And I would say more meditate than pray. You know your own thoughts. Know what's going on in your own head. You know, kick away all them thoughts that's coming from here, here, and understand that. Understand if a little voice comes in and, you know, that's not your thought. If just a thought pops up in your head and it, you know, it feels alien to you, then that's some kind of attachment that's part of you. And, you know, crystals will, or even sage, something that, you know, there's things that can remove those kind of things. But you need to be in control of your own thoughts. And what's great about meditation, and, you know, what was really cool is, like, I was meditating the other day, and all of a sudden I saw, like, I had, you know, zoo lights erase. You know, zoo lights would erase. They're master erasers. And I was seeing the stream in the ether that the zoo lights were erasing from my self-conscious. Because that stuff, you know, builds up in your self-conscious when you sit there and just, you know, and we're all guilty of it. You're just sitting there. That stuff is in yourself, you know. That's why they want it so quick, because it's, you know, that's and so, you know, I'm looking at this zoo light just erase that stuff. It's pulling it down and it's erasing and it's pulling it down and erasing it. Because it saws with, you know, some of these things become attached to you. And so just know that, you know, whatever you got going on is enough. Always have inspiration, dreams is great. Realistic things. And even if they're unrealistic, just, you know, you might be able to figure out a way to make your dreams real, make your dreams come, you know. But remember that you're enough, and what you have is enough, that you don't have to compare yourself to anybody else, that you all are unique, and, you know, feel loved so you can give love. So this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I've been your super funky host. I'll be on. I don't know if I'm going to come on tomorrow night or not, because this week I got to get up early every day. But definitely till we meet again.